Maybe next week I will do a little bit training and maybe go blindfolded with the bicycle or playing ping pong. For the blindfold stuff, it's much more the training for the eyes to get used to see through the blindfold. Constantly a little bit of training and playing around with it. But I have another friend, she's teaching it in Romania, Diana, one of my students. And she also saw like other dimension beings and other stuff.
Yeah.
But then she was frightened. Then she stopped it. But she started again now and more confident. And yeah, for me it was just like first a little bit of interest. And I think it's also maybe possible later for good remote viewing training.
That's right. It is. Yeah, it's helped out a lot on that one. There was one time I was with my buddy Marcus, and we were walking on the street where he'll be my guard guy just in case I'm getting off the road or a car's coming and I'm getting reckless. And before you know it, I started to get a certain card. I was coming down and I was getting a lot of the numbers on the license plate, the description of the guy and his hairstyle. And then I'm taking the blindfold off when he's getting close. I'm like, oh my God, pointing at him. And he's like,
nice. When I started to try to see behind my head, it was mostly a feeling, or even with the whole intuition stuff, it's like a feeling in the back of the brain.
Yeah.
And I felt this kind of this vibration, and then I knew things. This is when I had this intuition training. And for me, it was in the beginning when I did, I thought, okay, you still could cheat to see through the blindfold, so I want to know if I can see behind my back. That was actually the reason why I started to do it. And then it was the feeling, it started to open like a window in the back of the head, and was like, oh, this is green, oh, this is blue, this is yellow. And the hardest part was mostly between yellow and blue.
Yeah.
In the frequency, what I remember.
The way it was being interpreted to you?
Yeah, it's more like that. For me, sometimes it's different. Sometimes I get immediately the word, and sometimes I see it. But I remember I've seen through the healing so many crazy stuff. Then I switched long time ago the visible senses off, because I didn't like to see all the raping, all the killing all the time.
Yeah.
And then I just went to go directly into the information. And then I saw, okay, I knew this person has this, and numbers, this and this is coming up, so I don't even think about it. You just open the channel, the information is here, but I don't need to see it anymore.
That's right. Not even thinking about it. That's really important. Oh yeah. By the way, my mother, she always watches your videos and loves your dancing. She's like, tell Alexander that I love his dancing, that I'm a fan.
Thank you so much.
You watch on a big screen TV.
Come to the interview.
Real, yeah. Yes, she would. Yeah. So we'll get to it then. So, hey everybody, this is Alexander the Crake. Is that your last name?
Krakolinig is the last name, but the nickname became the Crake.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So a lot of my viewers are very familiar with you, and we have a lot of training together inside and showing some of your videos. But let's see where to start with you. You remind me of a more mature version of me, and I've seen your YouTube videos, and you're doing a lot of the things that I'm into and a lot of the interest. And I also like to dance, but I'm learning. Very amateur.
And next time we do a dance online workshop.
Definitely, I want to. That's good stuff. So, I wanted to start on a funny spot where you're doing energetics and you have a buddy behind you and he's using his intention for lower vibrations, and he comes with a baton, like a knife and a bat and a gun, right? And you're relaxing and you're just living in the moment and just relaxing, and he tries to come behind you with the intention, and then his central nervous system gets disrupted with the lower vibrations because he's going against his integrity.
It's not about going against his integrity. It's more like the density goes against itself because I go into emptiness or I go into a state of love. And if you attack something, there needs to be a tension on the other side. So if you create a tension, the counter tension comes from the other body. But if the other body don't even exist, where do you want to attack? So I can expand my field and I can create a bigger density that he can't even come close to me, or I take his own density against him. So
Right.
there are different ways how to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard to explain this in words because you try to understand, but you can't because you don't have the experience. And that's a big problem nowadays that people teach knowledge without having experience. And there's a difference if I give you one sentence out of my experience or other person is teaching you the same sentence, but without the experience.
Right.
Because I give you the whole experience field, my energy, so you can go and learn much faster through my experience. And this is quite lost. What I've seen, many people have wise words, but actually it's not wisdom if you don't have experiences. But it's a difference between knowledge and really embodying something.
Yeah.
And when you embody it, then you become it. And otherwise, people are constantly searching for more answers and stay then in this field of as a constant searcher and never arrive. And this is the biggest problem. So how would you go on when you constantly search, then you're running in circles.
So true.
It's like looking for freedom or looking for love. You're running in circles because you haven't arrived at it.
Wow, you're so right about it. We're in a time of information, but we're getting bombarded by it, where we don't meditate on one thing at a time and actually start using it and experiencing with it. The knowledge is, puffing us up, and even with ourselves in certain areas of our life, it's been a lot about it. But you're definitely a doer, out of a lot of individuals that I know, and with your demonstrations, you're walking out your identity.
The thing was, many years ago, this search started to stop, so there was nothing anymore to search for. So even now when people ask me, oh, can you do this or that, sometimes I just do it out from just having fun. It just comes up. But it's not like that I'm training for this or that because the aim totally disappeared. And when you go into different stages of emptiness, there's nothing to do and just to be, then you just observe. And of course, sometimes I thought, oh, if I would train this every day or this every day, I would get better. When I go to the ego mind of like to accelerate something to go faster, but at the same time, everything exists already all the time. So it's more about allowance. And so I started, oh, where do I have still a conflict between training and allowing? Because so many things what I found out was through playing around with my training partner.
Yeah.
I saw something on a video from a G master and then just went into the quantum field to connect. How could it be possible to do this? And by staying in the question and going into this field, the information just came and then we just figured it out. And so it's much more about your intention and letting go this ego will, how I would say. And the problem is later when there is no will anymore, then you just wait and observe till the heart will is coming.
Right.
But the thing is, I don't even have a heart will at the moment, and it's very hard to manifest something because everything is how it is. But I totally understand the stage where you are at the moment, and then I just can give you some different advices how you can accelerate. But for myself, it's like, yeah, it's nice to see, it's nice to have fun, but actually, all the meaning got lost.
Yes.
I found out the techniques, I found out what else is possible, but I don't know, the stage where I'm at the moment, it's more like, observing mostly.
Wow.
And maybe now comes again like the part, I'm in summer in Austria, where the physical part is more important. So, because I know when I travel, I don't have time for training, and now I'm here in Austria, so I play 2-3 hours beach volleyball or go swimming, just to take more focus on the body.
Right.
And then again, I'm traveling, or then I go into darkness or meditation. So there is no fixed concept, because many people try to ask me, oh, what's your diet? What are you doing? That I'm not in a fixed mindset. I'm always open to ask my body. I'm asking my subconscious. And yeah, it's mostly observing the observer from observation. From
Just,
observing. It's like you go into different levels, and then sometimes you look at yourself and it's like, yeah, schizophrenia a little bit. There's more personalities. Like sometimes there's not even any identification here. And I was one time scared of my own shadow. I saw I I've been in California on a Neigong seminar that I talked with a person outside of the yoga studio, and I just looked at the left and there was the window, and I was like, shocked. I was like, oh, this is me, no problem.
wow.
So sometimes you just see yourself from outside.
Yeah.
And for me, it's already normal, but I think it's a very scary thing for people who have experienced this the first time, that you're not limited when you expand too much. And yeah, many crazy things can happen.
Wow, that's some good stuff. I love the observer the observer, because that's very childlike. Last night I was just recording with my phone at nighttime, and I was seeing if I could catch some shooting stars. So as you keep zooming on the phone, you start to see the ambient energy at night when it's zoomed all the way in, and it's just pop, 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 statically everywhere. So then I put the phone down. I just got curious about filming the concrete on the driveway, and I can see all the crystals in the rocks. And then all of a sudden, this little tiny ant was like that big, and I could start seeing the details on them. But I was outside for a long time and soaked in sweat because it's hot over here in Florida. Just observing everything from on my phone from the Zoom. Just by observing that stuff, I just felt connected and incredible. Just enjoying it.
Looked at how further you look outside, like into the stars, how more you look into the past.
Mm,
That was for me something like, wow, because the light, what is coming now, is already so old.
right, that's true.
The stars maybe already dead. So what I'm observing, to observe the past, and how more I go into my body, how more I can go into the now.
Mm,
Of course, the whole universe is so fascinating. But for me later, because I think I was the same addict like every search in the beginning, you want to have more information. But the thing is, if you don't stop this addiction of information, you will never receive like the stage of happiness.
right.
And so now I can say I'm happy. It doesn't matter what comes up. And even if I'm not happy, I'm happy.
Wow.
So even when I'm injured or in a bad mood, I'm still happy, because it's something deep inside you. Then you just observe, oh, there is an emotion, but it don't belong to me. Just a reaction from a reaction. Even the last half year, I became, let's say, much more human. And it was weird for me, because since many years when I've been in different stages of the mind, and then I came back to feel more here, and like was feeling more, was understanding more, but on a different level. And it was so weird, because first, when you're constantly in the state of emptiness, of love, of bliss, or whatever comes up, and then you come back to go into different programs of yourself, was like, who is this now?
Right.
Because you don't have the identification anymore, and sometimes you have like blind spots. And then I needed to ask other friends, hey, what do you feel now in my body? Because I couldn't feel it. I could feel it, but at the same time I couldn't change it. And ordinary, if I go into a field, I just go into the emotion, accept it, and change it. And it wasn't even possible, because it was like I felt separated from myself, because I have been like in consciousness and awareness, and at the same time I could feel the body, but it didn't belong to me anymore. So it was kind of weird for a long time, and now it's like, okay, I'm fully here.
Wow.
And then it's weird, like even how the collective changed the last half year. You feel like I felt like this activism, what I need to do to inform people. Even it's a very emotional topic at the moment with all this manipulation what's going on. with the so-called Corona nonsense. And ordinary, I don't care so much what's going on in the outside, but it was really the last 5 months I haven't been posted. I think my whole life, like in the last 5 months, just to inform people.
Yeah.
I don't have emotion to it if a person still wants to do this or that or wants to believe, but for me it was much more share everything that people who are ready for the information can take it.
Mhm.
And so I had like a lot of conversations on Facebook with people, like with doctors, and for me it's just like, it's like you can feel the anger and you can feel the misunderstanding from the other person, but you don't go into their emotion, you don't go into their fight. You just observe and say, oh, you have a problem with me, okay, have a nice day.
Mhm.
Oh, you can't be my Facebook friend anymore, okay, let's go. So the thing is, it's more like for me it became a big cleaning to see who are still followers, what I know maybe from 10, 20 years ago, but I don't have contact, so why do I still have them in my field?
Right.
And in the beginning, when I came into healing, I always wanted to help everyone. You want to share, you want to give, but till you understand, you're not here for that.
Mhm.
It's first a wrong identification that you can help someone. Of course, you can because you have the knowledge and experience,
Yeah.
but it's more like if the person is really ready to change. And in my group, I said one time, healing doesn't change anything. The change can healing make it happen.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, what do you mean? It's like, look, if I just heal you now, maybe with your elbow problem, knee problem, or whatever, you still go back into your old field.
That's right.
So actually nothing has changed. Only your observation from the pain have changed.
Mhm.
And that was for me, I don't care so much about healing anyone anymore. For me, it was much more important to teach a higher consciousness, awareness, and the knowing.
Yeah.
Because then I'm not your guru. I don't need to help you all the time. I just tell you how you can do it for yourself.
Right.
That was for me much more important. It's not I'm the magician or I'm the guru, I'm the healer, so I'm like everyone else. For me, just the last 12 years, my focus was on healing and higher consciousness, and that's why I can talk out from experience.
Yes.
And you will get the shortcut just if you take all the experience what I had, and then you make your own experience. I never believe anything what I say. Just try it out and see what is the best technique for you. And I think that's a very important thing if you want to go into self-mastery.
Same thing with me. With the healing road that I was on, I was always like, chasing people down and it means like that. But everyone was actually in patterns and their pains will come back. Like you mentioned, like the elbow with me, we're
Yeah.
refusing to bend. And it, you know how the anatomy has the emotion and their observation changed during the midst of the healing. But later it's going to go back to the same thing. And then they're going to go down a rabbit hole of seeking truth and going to other healers and never.
Yeah, because the problem later is then you healed them and 1 month later, oh, it came back again. So the healing was not good enough or something like this because they have no understanding of what's going on. And so for me, it's different of the person who is coming. For some people, I just send the energy wave and it's transforming. That's it. Boom. For other people who are more in their mind, I need to explain much more
Right.
so that they can understand it and then they can allow it. And for me, I also questioned the last time, okay, from my seminars, why just like say 80% are getting what I'm teaching?
Mm.
And how can I open the field much more that everyone is ready to receive? And I figured out I will do it in my next seminar that first I have to prepare and ask everyone in the subconscious, are you ready to believe me, let's say for 5-10 minutes, what I'm saying? Because if you're not even ready for 5-10 minutes to fully believe what I'm saying, how can you receive anything 100% from me? It's not working. And I made different tests, like even after the first day, how much did you got from what I gave? And then people say, oh shit, just 30%.
Yeah.
I said, okay, now bring everything in take the energy back into your body, everything what you haven't allowed to receive. And I think that's the most important thing, to give the people the faith and the trust again in themselves, because this is the big lack what everyone has. For me, why I just was like seeking for more powers, let's say, because I said, if I can do it, everyone can do it.
Yes, that's right.
And for me, I grew up with a lot of illness. I grew up with a lot of pain. I was very weak. I had constantly problems. And I just made myself stronger and stronger and stronger all the time, because I knew everything is possible. But mostly I never told my past story, because for me it's just like, it's just experience, just past. Let's see what's more important for you right now. But later I started to share much more about my stories. And people say, oh, he's also a human being. Yes, of course, that's the reason why I'm here. And that's the thing, you can connect them with my story, with my problems, with my body, relationships. So for me, the reason why I share these stories, because you can see yourself in the story, and then you can see, oh, but this is the faster way. Oh, he had got the same shit. Oh, this. And then I understood, okay, also by sharing the story, I give already the way, because it's past. I showed already the difference, how you can change it. And therefore it's in the field here, and then it's easier to go that way, because it's not the unknown way. And the biggest fear is about the unknown. But when you can let go of this fear, then you're ready, then you're open. And I think the reason why I developed so fast, because I was mostly fearless. Already in the beginning, like when I was 12, 13, I never cared about anything. I could jump down 3-4 meters, because let's say I was crazy. I wasn't afraid of getting injured. And this extreme brought me from the physical sport extreme to the spirituality extreme, because I was injured. And then I had to study everything. So I always jumped from one extreme to another, till I could finally go much more into the center, because it's so hard to find the center. Because when you train, when I do too much, you got pain. So you know you did too much. But if you do too less, you also go, you know, you didn't get the input now. But where's the center? Where's the middle, where you say, oh, this is perfect training, not too much, not too less. And not just in training, in everything in life. And how you can invite this kind of flow and easiness. And for that, you have to let go all kind of your inner resistance of right and wrong. And then you just open this field. And for me, I stayed so many years just in this, let's say, consciousness of being in an enlightenment state or whatever. And then I figured out, yeah, but there's still a personality called Alexander. And at the moment I feel like, oh, Alexander wants attention, wants to train, wants to have a relationship or whatever. And so why do I separate a human being from an enlightened being? Because I can choose now to be a cook, to be a gardener, to be enlightened, whatever, because it's choice when you have experienced it. Or you just connect to the field and I just say, I want to be a cook. I don't teach spirituality anymore, whatever. So I don't have even an identification on this anymore, that I need to be a healer or whatever just because I'm good at it. And I think this is something what you will experience when there's nothing to do. You don't have any expectation. You just observe. And at the same time, it's hard to teach them like manifestation.
Yeah.
Because I know immediately if I want to, yeah, it will come one day, 1 hour, whatever. But therefore needs to be this heart will need to be here. But when you're fulfilled in the heart where there's nothing to do, then it's like, oh, I have to show something. I don't want to. Because there's no reason for it. Even one time in a seminar, like 3 people are lying over my legs and I had to stand up to show them that it's possible, very easy. And I was like sitting there and said, oh, actually I don't want to stand up, but I have to, because you need to understand it's easy. Everything is easy in life if you really want to. But so for me it was like sometimes the problem to bring up this energy, just do it to show. And this is like when you do things for a long time, it becomes a normal reality. It's not important for you anymore. It's the same thing, I think, when you are very rich.
Yes.
You're not so, if, let's say you have like a little bit more conscious about your richness,
Right.
you don't care about money that much. It's normal for you. And the same thing is with any ability, what you learn, it becomes normal, it becomes easy. The same in breakdancing. People say, oh, you do your freezes so easily. Yeah, because I trained it 1,000 times. And the same is with everything what we practice for a longer time or where we are confident. Even you don't need to train that long. Sometimes you just need to be in this right moment, in this right position, in this state of flow, and things are happening so easy. And I think for me was later, oh, I had a conflict. Oh, why should I train 3 or 5 years for just doing a movement or whatever when I know in the quantum field everything exists already?
Mm-hmm.
But I understood, of course, I have my crazy experience, what has nothing to do with training, but at the same time, we experience time all the time,
That's true.
our process. So it's still good to do at least something what makes you happy. And at the moment, I'm happy when I play 2, 3 hours beach volleyball outside. Even if it's not my aim to be a good beach volleyball player, it's just like the fun of the game.
Yes.
Even like, there's, I have a very good question for you. For what do you burn?
What do I burn?
Yeah,
Like a desire burn?
yeah.
Uh, Truly, what you're speaking about right now. I know the terms of grammar when I say I want to be happy means that I'm not now, but I want to live on a moment to moment basis of peace, joy, and not always react to things in my mind that are not according to I don't want to act like
Ask
a
again,
Mhm.
ask again your subconscious mind now. For what do you burn? What's your real desire?
Good.
Because what you answered now was much more a mind concept. But
Okay.
ask inside and feel what comes up. You got an answer?
Yeah, I just felt and kind of seen me flying, like just flying.
Okay, cool. And we had in one seminar this question, like everyone was asking the partner,
Mm.
so for what do you burn? And I really didn't like the question. So, then I said, I burn for the unknown and the impossible.
Uh,
And then was at the same time the feeling, oh my God, it don't feel nice. Why? Because if I understand the unknown, my fire is away. And if I show the impossible, my fire is also away. So I'm limited on these two things. And if I figure it out, I'm screwed and my fire is lost. And I was like, oh my God, what I'm doing here. Because actually you can have fire by sweeping up the floor, by doing the dishes. You can have the fire for everything when you're fully in your fire.
yes.
And then I had one question in my group and asked them, why do you want to have superpowers? What's the reason for it? And when you have them, what's the next step? Because I figured out people then, you're not grateful. The same time when you start dancing, you're doing some freezes, whatever, then it becomes random, it becomes a basic.
Right.
And then you're not even grateful for the thing what you have already achieved. When you fully let go of some aims, sometimes the result just comes to you without even doing anything. Because first you pushed so much and you let go and it jumps just back on you.
So it's just like energetics in the way of manifestations or in the way of always having that burning desire that gives us that hunger internally. We can actually push a lot of tension the way that we interactly, the way we react internally on a moment to moment basis. We can end up putting a lot of resistance to things instead of, like you just mentioning earlier, just being.
There's one thing what I figured out about healing. It's like the allowing and the belief that things can change and things can happen. Because I've seen students who were ready to believe what I'm saying and had instant healing. And others who are more skeptic also received healing. Even my neighbor, he was half paralyzed, and after 1 hour, he was walking straight. He said, you're a witch. I said, no, I'm just your neighbor, but I understand how the body is working. So, of course, both is possible, but of course, it's easier if someone fully opens up, then you will get much more gifts. And that was for me something, okay, that's why I had this question. Are you fully ready to believe me for 10 minutes? You still can throw it away afterwards, but just be ready to receive now and try to believe. Because if you haven't got a little bit of faith in anything, you will constantly in a judging mind, and therefore you will constantly look for a problem instead of a solution.
Right.
And this creates the drama constantly because you're always just looking, oh, where is he wrong? Where is the problem? Oh, but this I don't like. And that's the problem. It doesn't matter in which area you go. And so for me, it doesn't matter in which area you go. You can learn from every part. If you go in sports or if you just play another game, how do you react? You can learn so much from sports. And I brought all what I could understand from the culture in sports and the sports itself. How can I adjust this into my normal reality? And many people just doing sports to be good in sports, but don't understand actually everything what you train is training for your mind. And there are so many gifts.
There is. I love that. That's why you and I, we use the blindfold or the telekinesis and all the other types of exercises that we use so we can harmonize, and just we see the reflections of the universe back at us as we embrace it. As you're saying earlier, seeing the world as it is.
So for me, I became the informations about levitation, teleportation, all this stuff. And I knew, okay, you have to train this or that, do this breathing or whatever. But then I was, nah, I'm too lazy. I'm too lazy now to train 4 or 5 months because
Right.
it's not my heart wish at the moment. Maybe it comes end of the year where I say, okay, now I train 5 months just to do it. And I think it's very important that you're honest to yourself. What is at this time your next step? Because why should I invest now all this time into this what I don't need right now just because I believe, oh, now I can levitate? Yeah, for what? And I think this is the big self-lie with our ego constantly where we think, oh, we need this or that to be happy. And so for me was, oh, it should be good if I finish my books now. People are waiting for many years already and I want to bring it out now. And then I was, oh, there's a resistance coming up. It's a nice weather outside. I want to read other books and just enjoy. And so constantly playing with the tension, what's coming up in your life, to understand why do I create tension or what is the real will. And I think that comes by living. And many people just want to have a 1 second solution, but you have to live it.
Yeah.
And I think the big problem, people are so afraid. They want just a solution, want an answer, but they don't want to live it. And I think that's the big problem with everything we do. You have to get first an information, and then you test it. And how more you play, how easier and faster you will get better. And then the next thing what comes up, how better you will be, more jealousy will come up in the other people. And that's the reason why it was also forbidden to show the power, because there's a lot of envy. And then people have like maybe also awakening and are not ready for things like this. Because in one seminar, people say, oh, why we don't show this in public or this or that, and awaken the people. I said, look, everyone got his free will where they are going and when they are ready. Because many people got fucked up by having a Kundalini experience and don't know how to get a normal life again. Consciousness is not that undangerous as people believe, because it's like, really, you get a psychic problem. Many people like who are like even taking like other medicine to get a different state of mind. It's not, how to say, I don't want to judge it on one way. For me, everything is good and bad at the same time, but don't do it just you want to be cool or just you want to have an experience. Ask your soul what it's ready for. Because many people 10 years ago, 15 years ago asked me if I want to try this drug or this drug, and I always said no. Then maybe like some years later, I find, okay, now I'm ready for ayahuasca session, or now I'm ready to try this. But just it came into this timeline, but not because I had to prove something. And nowadays, when I see the society, everyone wants to prove, oh, I did this, or look at me, I've done this. So for me, the whole art in sports and everything became very dead because I see the youngsters doing flips and everything just to get the like on YouTube,
Right.
but not because of the art or not of the self-mastery. And I see the difference so when people are doing crazy stuff and tricking or whatever, like 5, 10 years ago, and seeing it now that the ego, yeah, really breaks the culture down.
Yeah.
So the beauty for me is lost because I can see a beauty in a backflip or a triple flip, whatever, and the elegance in it. And when I see it with some youngster doing it, it's more like, oh, have you recorded it? Oh, yeah, 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 I can show it to my friends. And then it was like, yeah, but I actually just did all this movement for my self mastery,
Mm.
for controlling the body, for feeling the flying in the air or whatever. This is where I see the society is like getting a very unhappy way at the moment.
That's right. That's so
But
true.
of course, we are in constantly in a change, so everything goes up, down constantly. So it doesn't matter what goes out, what comes in the outside. Always look, what is your next step? Where do you want to be in the end of the year? And what do you allow yourself to receive? And just feel it. Next week, where are you going? Or next month, end of the year, what do you want to learn a new language? Want to learn the piano? What? It's like I see people saying, "Oh, I'm bored." But how can you be bored in this fucking amazing universe we are?
Right.
It's like I would never use this term that I'm bored. Never, never. Yeah, don't you remember when I said this word?
That's right.
Because there's so many things what you can experience when you're ready for experience. But of course, if you don't have energy in your brain, you're resisting a change. So you stay in this comfort zone. And then you get tired, you don't know what to do with the time, you become lazy. It's also with older people like 70 above, because then your body becomes yin yin. If you haven't trained first your internal and your young energy, then it's the reason why the spine, everything goes like clutch
That's right.
and you die. And I think this is yeah, it's, for me, it's first information, awareness, training, and practice. Practice everything from what you have learned in life. Otherwise, it's just a concept, it's a theory, but it's a self lie at the same time. It's just your own created filter, your own created reality.
You said for you it is self-awareness, training, and practice.
Constantly, because even if I go for beach volleyball and I figured out sometimes I'm mirroring people or I manipulate them in the game and ask them, which part of Alexander is this now?
Mm.
And actually, nobody, then only maybe 2, 3 people knows who I really am or what I'm doing. Some people just see me training and just see me as a sports guy and never know what else I'm doing. And then I said, oh, when I travel, I just do healing. When I'm at home, mostly I just like relax and do sports. So it's very, very funny how people observe you and then they're surprised when I go with a different depth into a topic because they just have a judgment, oh, this is this crazy sports guy.
Right. Right.
But they haven't even talked with me on another level. And so I started also in the last weeks just to do random healings at the sports park. So that's much more what I've done the last 12 years. So I can do it also here. But just like Europe is like more closed-minded, let's say, and I'm like in a little village.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy if I don't get burned on a tree when I talk about my stuff.
You're right.
Yeah. So sometimes for me, when I traveled and came back to Austria after 1.5 years, I figured out like, damn, I feel like I'm an alien from the future. People still stay in the past. I've been away for 1 week. I'm a wrong planet here. I don't know. But I think this feeling we all have experienced, and for me was later, oh, where do I still separate? And I tried to let go of the separation of, oh, this person is unacknowledged and arrogant or whatever. It's their choice. My choice is not to be with them. And I think that's a problem from a helper or a healer who constantly want to help everyone. But people are addicted to pain and drama, so therefore you just say, oh, drama queen, have a nice day, and nothing more. And even if it's in the family, don't belong to me. It's the drama from my family. And it's very important to see this, otherwise you just train yourself for nothing. And I see you noticing, to notice change can happen very fast, but the thing is, if you haven't asked the subconscious if it's ready for change, then you just lose a lot of spit with talking.
And that revelation of you asking the subconscious got you able to see where you can maintain your vibrational alignment now, because you were asking within and now you can see, right? You're just asking within, and then you can see. How often do you do it? Are you doing this on a moment to moment basis, or you just you know what I'm saying?
It, yeah, do it like from, I can't even talk about time.
No, I know.
It's it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
It's for me more, okay, I've been like in the program, let's say I train every day 2 3 hours, and then I gotta stop and I feel, oh, I just injured my leg. It's like, wow, I was fully happy because I had a little cut in my toe when I was walking out from the river. It's like, hey, that's weird. Why I injure myself? It's happened maybe one time in many years. And I always know then there's a gift in it. And so I was fully happy. Yeah, I got a 3 centimeter deep cut in my skin. I was fully happy at home. And like,
Wow.
and then he said, oh, this just brought me out from the program where I was constantly just walking every day to the lake for 8 hours, being in the sun, just reading books, doing nothing, and then and in the evening a little bit training and watching some movies. And hey, why I'm in this program now, and who chose this program? And I was so happy to get out of this program, and therefore I didn't even care to heal myself. I said, I don't care, and I know I can close the wound in seconds.
Right.
I experienced this when I was on a salsa festival many years ago, and I jumped out from the pool and I cut my knee. I said, no, I have no time for an injury. I'm here in a salsa festival. And I put my hand on it, and after 5 minutes it was closed. And so I was again there with my bleeding foot, and everything was already blood. I said, interesting. I can stop the bleeding, but there's something more. And this is for me awareness, that you don't go by the program, oh, I need to heal it because I'm a healer or I don't want it. So no, what is the gift right now?
Yes, yes.
And this you can do every moment. And this is it's a funny game. So why do you talk to this person right now? And what kind of role do I have when I talk to this person and the next time I'll talk to this person? Am I the same or what I'm reflecting? It just becomes a game because if you don't have awareness, you just be in a program. And for me, many years ago, I was even like mirroring physically the people at the hand in the same position or like talking like the same words somehow.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, why I'm doing this? And this gives you more awareness of, do I just talk because of talking? Or what is the message right now? What do I want to share? Or do I even want to share? Or why do I don't want to talk? So sometimes I have even time where I don't like to talk a lot because I'm more inward. So I don't want to talk and say, yeah, hello, bye, see ya, whatever. I don't go into a topic, and sometimes you feel like sharing to inspire people. And this is how more you become aware of the present, how easier it will be for you, because otherwise you constantly react just somehow. So you don't have awareness. Why do you say this to this person right now? Do you want to be in right? Do you want to help? So you don't have the awareness if the person is even ready to receive what you're saying. And so for everything, even in healing, before you go to someone on the street, asking a subconscious, who would be ready to receive a miracle right now? And then choose the person and see what will happen.
You reminded me of something that happened yesterday. I went to Aquatica, a theme park in Orlando. It was a water park, and there was a black racer that came out of the lazy river, and a lot of the people were panicking. A lot of people were so close because they just jumped out, so the snake was just trying to scare them off. So I just put my hand out, and it just kept biting me, and I just picked it up, just real gentle, just by his body, and I put him in the garden. Yeah, I just got an awareness that in the midst of it all, where I was looking and freaked out. I was just thinking, uh, prophetically, what does that mean? Because I know the snakes are representing like wisdom for vibrations. They don't hear, but they're getting my vibrations. Then I started to judge myself, and I was thinking that kid over there is probably telling his dad, that guy wasn't walking in unconditional love. That's why he got bit. And then I'm like, Nico, don't be hard on yourself. But but just hearing what you're saying on that, just and being aware, and everything is prophetic, but not to be overly active on it, but balanced. Like you bring it back to that center point, where you're just being, you're still happy, You don't want to put your conscious attention or your subconscious attention on the healing, because your focus starts to go there, and then in the background it subsides. The healing's being done, and all that. We're still putting that underlying manifestation there, but in the midst of that, we can enjoy the gift, but we won't be able to hear it. And when we start doing the healing, unless we advance more, the consciousness.
Because you talked about the bite, many years ago I was with my dog in the forest, and there have been a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And there was maybe 30 mosquitoes on my arms. And I was like, I just love them. So they will bite me on my acupuncture points to help me to let go of the old blood, what I don't need.
Right.
And no one of the mosquitoes bit me even. It was just sitting there and I had no red points, nothing.
You got the message.
Yeah, and so for me it was like, oh, so all the time when a bee sting you or whatever, free antibiotica, whatever. Just see it like, I think the big problem is that we have constantly resisting about everything because we have an idea what should be in your life and what not. Ask yourself, where is this idea coming from?
Right. I love that. I've actually told someone that as well, and I never heard anybody else say it about, when we get bit by anything or a mosquito or anything like that, it's a free antibiotic, and it's sucking out the poison or the toxins. Everything is love, seeing it like that as it is, because everything's neutral, as you were mentioning earlier.
The problem is when you study too much, your whole energy stay in your head. You constantly want to understand more. You want to have different ideas and answers instead of going inward.
Right.
Because you still look for how to say this, acceptance of a theory what you have, and then when you have like more point of views what are already accepted, then it's easier to follow instead of just follow your own life and own heart wisdom.
Right.
And because ask yourself what is possible in your reality what nobody has done yet. This is how you create new things, because otherwise we just constantly repeat past. So what else is possible? First, like going away, understanding, okay, there I want to be, but beside of this way, what else would be possible? What could you change here? What can you invite here in this earth? Just said in this earth, interesting. And I think with every question you open a different field instead of having a fixed point of view. And then, because I experienced much more crazy experiences when I was traveling, because you're much more open, because when you're at home, you just see past. You know the tree, you know the way. But if you go outside where you don't know the language, the smell, taste, then you're more open to receive. And then I said, oh, that's an interesting judgment. I'm already 1 year in Austria. I need to be ready to receive also here. And so I changed something in my subconscious, and I started to receive in the last weeks for 5 different people at the lake who have been totally open about consciousness. And we had an amazing talk with another shaman when I was on my boat, then some gymnasts on the slack line. And today, even in the park, we talked about different BK stuff. So more and more things start to open. But I promise, if you close yourself down because oh, I don't want to talk with stupids, I don't want to talk with this or that, of course, then you constantly stay in your field. And that's happened with many genius or other people who don't want to talk, let's say, with this so-called low vibration or whatever, because you don't want to waste time. But the thing is, when you give, you receive a lot when you're ready to receive. And for me, it's the most important and nicest thing what you can do is to inspire. But first, you have to be inspired by yourself by what you're doing. Otherwise, you can't inspire anyone.
So good.
That's what most people just doing is motivation, but motivation is from outside.
Right.
Then you're a slave from a motivator who kicks your ass constantly.
That's good. Inspiration.
If you have a fire, if you have inspiration inside, I don't need to tell you go and study. You will do it by yourself. And I was never, let's say, intelligent person. I never liked to study because for me I always had bad teachers. But as soon if my fire ignited in a different topic, like in past life, Atlantis, Lemuria, I was watching 500 documentaries a year about all the pyramid stuff. And then everything, I put the weight and I had no connection. I healed the past life. I did everything with the crystals and had no attachment to anything. And then I just say, oh, I want to have information about this. And the next day I get the best information about PK, about the Qigong master, etc. So for me it was really just like, when are you fully ready to open just like the intention to this field with a little bit inspiration, like this little spark like fires up and things are coming so far. And the biggest fear what I've experienced is to be great, to be God, to manifest in seconds, because then you're thinking like, shit, life is too easy and I have to be very aware of what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Otherwise I manifest things what I don't really want just because I'm unstable in my emotions.
that's true.
And there for me was much more important. First, fully heal yourself, power coming by itself. And that's why I'd say I kill most of the ego on the first day, and the second and third day then we just play with energy. And then we're in a playful field, and then everyone can do contactless fighting or telekinesis or whatever.
Wow.
Because then it's not out from wanting to be superior than you. I said, no, I am this.
That's right.
And this makes things much easier. And then it's not about, because as soon if you try to show off, it won't work. You're not in your heart field. You create tension with showing off. It's not working.
Yeah, that's that separation, tension. Yep.
Interesting what we're talking. I thought we would talk much more about healing, but it's the same thing mostly.
You're right. Oh yeah, that mole rat that you were saving from a cat, and it was shaking in your hand and it started to calm down according to your vibrations. Elaborate more on that day. You were seeing a cat gonna kill a mole rat.
The moment for me it was not about killing. There were like 4 kittens who played with this rat, and I felt compassion to this rat and said, if you kill them, you eat them, there's no problem. But for me this was like, they just played it because the mother mostly play with the rat, that the kitten starts to attack it, that they got the relationship to it to kill rats.
Wow.
And for me it was like, no, at the moment I'm just took it away, give them the healing, and then the rat went away. So this was mostly, so for me I don't even think like, you will feel your inner truth and reality, your intention why you're doing it right now. And so there is no concept. So for me it was like, I stopped eating animals maybe, I don't know, 8-10 years ago. But when I went to Max to New York to the seminar, I went out from the plane in his car and I told him, I'm ready to die. And he looked at me, what the heck? Which crazy guy did he invited now to come to the States? But I just did like a death meditation. And I fully surrendered and opened up, and that was such an amazing heart fit. So I'm fully ready to die because there was no identification with anything.
Wow.
And then I was thinking like, oh, I don't have a problem with people killing each other because I know about the soul purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was still a judgment when humans are killing animals just for fun and all this stuff. And I said, oh, but this is also just a concept. And at that time, I told to Max, okay, let's go into this fancy restaurant and let's eat a steak. But I have been vegetarian for 8 years.
Yeah.
But I grew up as a fisher and a hunter. So I didn't have any problems after it. I blessed the food, I ate it, I had no problem. And so for me was, oh, it's a totally different point of view now. So I always ask my body if it needs something different than vegetables. And it happens maybe 2-3 times a year where I eat a salmon, or maybe once in 2-3 years where I eat a deer.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always important. Like for me, I'm a negative blood type.
Yeah.
A blood type is not good to eat any kind of animal. Just like salmon and deer, it's easy to digest from the theory about the blood types.
Yeah.
So you can also see what.
A positive.
Yeah, it's the same A.
Yes.
And so then you just see that you have much more power, because it's all about body electricity. It's all about plus minus yin yang. You have constantly the exchange. That's why you can play with the magnetic field. And all these negative ions gives you a lot of healing. That's why they suggest in Japan and China to get a forest walk between 4 and 6 o'clock in the morning. Also doing Tai Chi, because the energy is different at that time. And so you see when it's more yin, when it's more yang, and even in the forest you have more terpenes in the morning. So this is refreshing your body much more if you want to live longer. So we have even more than 3 countries where the average age is more than 100 years. But people are 140, 150 and still happy.
That's right.
So it's always like good to, for me there are two things. One is self-mastery, and the other thing is also to see where is a good environment that you can grow.
Okay.
And that was for me something important, because I was traveling. That's why I said, okay, let's make everyone from my seminar ladies in the group to share all the stories to help each other. I don't want to have just a one-hit wonder seminar. For what? It's useless.
That's right.
So for me, it was much more to create a community who is ready for self-mastery. And then you go beyond powers, then we go beyond everything. And then all these powers becomes a side effect. How do you feel?
One thing that I know that I'm gonna start doing is asking the subconscious mind. And I remember you mentioned that before, but you said it in a way where you said not really expecting an answer, right?
Yes.
Just asking the subconscious mind, observe from there, and live from there.
Yeah, because if you look for an answer, you create tension.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because you're wanting an answer. The wanting is lack. And sometimes the answer comes in a second. Sometimes it manifests already on the next day, just because you stayed playful, like a child, inspired with this question. And this creates miracles.
Right.
To say, how is this possible? How can this information come to me? What is the next step? And how do I get to the next step? And what is my next step? Sometimes we don't even know. But we don't need to know. We just need to be ready to receive it.
What do you do when you're aware that you've created tension? Do you just observe that and it goes back to relaxation?
Sometimes I ask the other person, because we never know if we just stay in a self-life somehow. So when I have a special topic, I ask one of my students who are training with me for a long time to see, okay, please look inside. What is there? Why do I don't want to do this or that? Is this a feeling? Is it an emotion? Is it something why I manipulate or sabotage myself because I'm not ready to be that powerful or whatever? Because mostly the tension, what we all create, is just a point of view.
Right.
And if you can let go the point of view, what you have, you will experience different things. It's like if you see someone like from the past, and he was, when you experienced him, a fucking idiot. Let's say it like how it is. So then you again put your old filter on this person. And so he always will be this fucking idiot for you.
Right.
But if you put away this intent, this projection, then you can experience a different person. And you see it mostly in your family. Not about the idiot, but much more about the past. That your mom says, oh, but don't forget your wallet. That was 30 years ago. Yeah, but don't forget your wallet. Because in the family, let's say like parents are mostly in this circle behavior of living the same day all the time. And so they don't have the capacity mostly of observing a different view. Because even I have been traveling in the last 8 years, my mother still believes this or that. I don't even remember what I've done. So it depends also on the relationship. And this is where you just can say, hey, you don't know me. I wouldn't even say that I know my sister. And I told her, how can I say that I know you? You live more than 20 years in another city. My brother lived 13 years in Ecuador. So yeah, I know his behavior. I know how his mind is working. Really knowing for me is something, a very deep relationship. And not everyone is ready for a very deep relationship because of the fear.
Yep.
And in family, you have very often this game of rivalry. Older brother, older sister, father, who is in which position, who gets which attention.
Right.
And everything what we are doing is constantly a placeholder for love, in sports or with everything. But if you're fulfilled in the love, you don't need a placeholder anymore. And that's why my sport and everything what I do changed, because it's not about getting better or being faster, whatever. It's more like, oh, I just choose it now because I choose.
Mm.
So the intention of winning, because every person constantly just wants to win. Because also you interview me because you want to win.
Right.
You want to win more information. We
Right.
constantly want to win. So we constantly, when you stay in this concept of winning all the time, you don't see what you have. You're not grateful what you have.
Good.
So when I'm fully grateful what I have, I still do the other stuff, but not because of winning, just
Right.
because of I just do it right now.
It's good. It's good.
And this is total different energy.
Mm-hmm.
And this you will experience when you can let go of this winning. And I had one time an esoteric person in my seminar, and I said this, everyone is just here because you want to win. And then this guy said, no, because of love. So you're a fucking liar. You're esoteric guy. I said, no, and then I had a debate like a half an hour and said, hey, you can't even receive my information. So talk with anyone in this room now because you can't receive anything from me. And ask them about their opinion. Because nothing what I say, you already said, no, you're an asshole. Why do you say it's about winning, not about love?
Yeah.
When you're fully in love, you wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Only if it would be a different pull from your soul to come here.
That's good. Yeah.
Because then you would just you would just sit and observe. You wouldn't have any judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'm swearing to people very bad things in the seminar because I'm reflecting their inner pain, that you can let go of it.
Wow.
And then one person said, oh, but this is so mean. I said, you're just the same victim. But if you would be in love, you would see who I really am.
Right.
And then you would just smile at me and enjoy the swearing, because there's no judgment when there's love.
That's the truth. I love that. That's amazing. That you understand that as well. I know you do. The moment that we justify ourselves or make an excuse, we're no longer observing in unconditional love.
One of my students just said, oh, Alex, oh, I can feel the difference now, how you teach, and when I try to do the same thing as you do, because he was still trying to imitate me. And so when he was mean, he haven't been in the heart space. So when I'm mean, for me it was like, oh, I didn't want to be mean anymore. For me, it's just like I'm happy just to be in this love state. But the problem is, if I'm just alone in my love state, then people just go for a short time into this frequency, but then they go back into their mind shit. But when we first clean out the mind shit and the judgment, then you by yourself, you are pure love. Then that's totally different. That's the reason why people can mostly accept when I'm talking very mean stuff to them. Because then they can feel it, and then they can surrender it, and then it's everything easy going.
It's like a
But I
impart.
really had the time when I was teaching a lot, I was like, damn, I don't want to go through all this basic crap all the time. That's why I started to write more notes that people remember. Please read first the notes about victim, offender, self-mastery, what is love, how to manifest money, all these concepts that we finally can work much faster on this stuff. And then mostly after 3 days, when everyone is in pure love and having fun, then the seminar is over at midnight. And I say, okay, actually now is the time where we can play and we can do much more crazy things.
Oh wow.
But it's mostly after 30 hours of a weekend seminar.
That's interesting. And when you have some of those same students back, Do you see some that are continuing on and some that are in the same pattern?
Because now I have more than 300 people in the group, and then I asked like, oh, are you already so enlightened, or why nobody's writing anything of this process anymore? And the thing is like, if you don't show your process, because you're afraid of the judgment, you will never go forward. And for me, some people, when I started to share a process, depends on the person, because if the person wants to see me as a guru, oh, why does he have this process or whatever? That's because you don't even understand the layer where I am.
Right.
I just want to share something so you can also feel and make a shortcut.
Yes.
That was for me the thing, was very important. Please share all your problems in one group and the achievements in the other group, to motivate, to inspire, to see, oh, he manifested, just like one of my students just manifested the house. She went already there, it's hers. And people said, oh, you can't do it like this. And now she just got it.
Wow.
Or manifested more than $50,000, whatever. But this only comes when you align with your heart. And I saw, okay, maybe from this 500 people over the last years, there are just like 20 people who are really ready for self-mastery. The other 400 just came because they say, oh, it was fake. I wanted to see if it's fake, or I want to receive healing. So you always need to know, oh, who is really ready to go further. And for me, I was mostly connected with the whole fear that, hey, damn, I feel constantly the process from other people. I have to get out from the group. And then I just go in for the next stuff and people are ready. And then I had my students say, okay, now teach in Germany, teach in Switzerland. Now you start to teach it every month so that we get a bigger community.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also for you when you teach easier, because you see your own program, you see the problems when you teach, or the field, or you see the change from the students, and that's the beauty of it. And then you learn constantly.
Wow.
And first you do it because you want to learn more, but later it's not even about you anymore. You just see, you become space. And that's why I don't need to teach anymore. There is nothing for me where I say, oh, I want this or that. There is no wanting at the moment. Sometimes it's nice to see, but I also can live like in the forest without anyone. And that was for me always like, okay, which kind of Alexander is this now?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm in this staying of like going into enlightenment, there is nothing anymore. And now I'm just back being a human. And I'm fully here. I want to train, I experience my body, I want to finish my books. And then it could change already next day, I don't know. And this is very hard to understand for many people. And when I've been in Mexico, I was like 4 months in emptiness. I didn't even know if I would come back to Europe or will teach ever again.
Right.
And then just 1 month before I came back to Europe, again, I could organize a seminar or do anything.
Wow.
When you still think there must be a better version of you, then you still judge yourself that the present you is not right how it is at the moment.
Right.
And there's a question what I give many people, like, can you be better than you are? But for every person who believes that he can better than he is, it's wrong. It's not possible.
Judgment, right?
Can you be worse than you are?
No.
Right. So you are perfect how you are. It doesn't matter if you hug me or spit on my feet. For both is a reason.
Yeah.
And I think this is the problem. As long we constantly try to be better because of something bad happens, we're constantly judging ourselves. So there can't be self-love. That's the reason why we constantly look in the outside to see, oh, are we accepted how we act? Do you love me when I look like this? Do you love me when I do this? And this creates all the tension and the drama instead of just doing what you really love.
Right.
Are you really truly happy with what you're here? And if you just say, oh, I don't want to stay that long in this dimension, then train for the rainbow body. Don't have a negative thought for 13 years. Go into the temples, go to the monks, but you can't tell anyone their way right now. Of course, and somehow you can tell, but the person needs to be in balance with themselves first.
Right.
So for me, when I give you advice, it's more like, okay, What do you want to experience? Uh, and then I can see, okay, what tool I will give you now that you can maybe get this experience. And then I send you energy wave. And so I give you this information, or meditate on this, or try this out. Maybe this gives you the answer. And the next thing is all about you. That's the reason why it's called self-mastery, because it's about yourself. But of course, in the beginning, it's good to have someone, a master, a guru, whatever, to lead a little bit the direction. But I had the same problem. I was always looking for someone and never found where I said, oh, this is a really complete teacher. And so I took just from everyone what I felt, oh, this would make me much more complete. So this one is good in Tai Chi, this one in Neigong, this one in healing, this one in love, this one in spirituality. And then I figured out, oh, I need to embody this. Because most people who are, like even in Asia, they are just good in one thing. Because they train just 20, 30, 50 years Qigong or Tai Chi. But their personal level, sometimes their mind concepts are totally fucked up. But they're good in the one thing what they train. And for me was, okay, it's good to go into enlightenment state, but at the same time, I want to be aware of my subconscious programs. Because if I don't have my own temple where I'm just like having my own slaves who are constantly looking that I'm good, then I can't stay in this normal way, in this normal life all the time in my guruship to say, oh, everything is very nice. Of course, I go out and I want to have tension. I want to feel a relationship or whatever. And if I don't want to do it, then I go back to the forest. And I think people just taking so many advices, what was understood in a temple, in a religion concept or whatever, and that is very hard adjustable in a daily life. Because if you're a nun, if you're a monk, you just do this. But if you have children, if you travel, if you do this, you constantly have other fields. And then it's very hard to adjust it all the time. But at the same time, I wouldn't even say this or that is better. Just balance it. Because you can just get some certain experience in the field of the non or monk area, and you have totally other fields here in the city. But it's good to go for training. That's why I say, okay, train 1, 2, 3 months in the forest, and then come back and see if this, what you trained and experienced, is also possible to do it here, where you have much more resistance, much more unbalance, and much more drama. And I think that's the problem with many esoteric people who just want to be in love and light, but they're not grounded. And then you can be in presence, and then you can manifest it, because you're up there and not in here.
Right, that's right.
The problem is, through all your training, you are a lot in your mind. And when you're too much in your mind, you forget to enjoy life. And this was happened with me too. I constantly want to have more information, more crazy experiences, and I totally forgot just to enjoy the present moment, to see a bug is flying on your hand and you just observe. Hello.
Yeah.
How can I explain life then than how it is by itself? It's like, because I can explain a way because it's already passed.
Yes.
And just because it was my way, how I experienced it, it didn't must. I can't even talk.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like, try to feel me now. Maybe it's easier.
That's why you dance. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's a dance on it.
Because for me, I went from one extreme to another till I understood. I just separated because I said, oh, this is right, or I just want to do this. And I said, I just want to go into a higher space, and I don't want to live a normal social life. Or can I be both? Can I be enlightened and have a family, or whatever? So all this nonsense comes up. But how more you want to go up, how more you have to go down inside. You have
Okay.
to be more human if you want to go more up. That's why even the big masters later are looking after 12 years something where they can get a trigger to get to the next stages. Oh, where do I still have a judgment? So that's the reason why there's a saying: if you think you're enlightened, just go home for a weekend.
And see how
And
we.
then I was 1 year at home and was like, fuck. And I was like, oh, why do I still want to test myself? Or why do I still believe I have to heal my family?
Yeah, yeah.
And I could learn so much, but at the same time I understood, oh, I have nothing to do here anymore. It's choice.
Right.
The problem is, as soon if you try to find a system, you have to destroy it. And I was explaining Max something in the car,
Yeah.
and he said, now I got it. And I said to him, everything is how it seems to be, and nothing is how it seems to be. And then he was like, because he was again angry because finally he thought he understood it. And that's the same thing constantly, like allow information to pass through your body, experience it, but don't hold on to it. It's like just because you can kiss one girl now, it doesn't mean you can kiss the next girl just for fun.
That's right.
Maybe you have already a baby, whatever. The
Yeah.
problem is our mind to constantly try to create concepts to feel safe.
Right.
And
Right.
there's a reason for it, for survival, of course. But for if you want to go to the next level, you have to let go constantly and open constantly to experience constantly new things. Otherwise, you repeat just past patterns.
That's what we
And I
call
think many people are already brain damaged after this talk now.
the reincarnated circle. Yeah, I know, right?
The fastest way is just observe, feel, and play.
Mm.
So sometimes in a healing session, I tell the person, make the pain bigger.
Right.
Fully entrusted, oh, I want to have pain. I want to suffer. I want drama. And then they will feel their own tension, what they're creating, because they don't want it.
Right.
And
Wow.
when they fully allow it and play it, then in 1 second, oh, the pain is gone. Yeah, welcome.
That's right. Good. Yeah, because we're making it. We're magnifying the pain, putting that fear and tension on it.
So this, I think even this talk created a lot of tension. So I want to invite everyone out just to close their eyes and just observe what's going on in your body now. Where is your energy? Where is your soul? What do you feel? What do you think? And allow everything to flow out from the feet. It says inside, I'm fully ready to be in this body, on this earth, in this dimension right now. I'm fully ready to receive healing. I'm fully ready to receive again miracles. I'm fully ready to receive every day a gift, and I'm ready to be aware of it that I got this gift. I allow myself to be. I'm happy to be me. I love me. I love my body. I love my life. Thanks to the world. Thanks to the universe. And just put one hand to your heart, one to your belly, and observe yourself. And allow that all this nonsense talk we had just starts to integrate in every cell of your body and creates a lot of harmony and easiness in your body. Thank you, heart. Thank you, body. Thank you, soul. Thank you, mind. I love you. I love me. And see and feel yourself fully arrived in yourself already.
I was laughing when you said the nonsense talk we have because at the end of the day, after all the knowledge, what you do is just be trying to explain it.
It's like all the words, it's just the information, much more behind, much more important behind it is the intention. So when I talk, I mostly send the frequency for different understanding. And this is much more important than any information what you get to your mind. And some people will be aware, some people just will experience, they don't know why this happens.
Have you ever heard that saying that goes, if you hang around a millionaire, you become a millionaire? And they call it
Yeah,
impartation, yeah. And behind the words, the energy you have behind the words give impartation because your experience.
right. I think my phone will switch off very soon. Only 4% left.
Oh wow! Thank you so much. I know it's amazing time. Loved it so much. And good to know you better.
Thank you, brother. Enjoy your day. Greetings to your family. And see you soon.
You as well. Easy, easy, like you say.
Easy.
Love you, Alexander. See you, buddy.
Love you. Good night.
Good night.